Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Izzuddin and we're from section 1/2 and we're from group 4. Okay, so today my group and I will talk about lab 1, which is Introduction to F.M.S. Kholler CIM03. So we're from group 4 and my name is Muhammad Izzuddin Muhammad Idrus and my members are Muhammad Badrul Ikmal, Muhammad Amirul Hafiz and Muhammad Afiq Hazwan. And our lecturer is Encik T.S. Maslan bin Zainul. So an introduction for this lab, the main purpose of this lab is to understand what is the flexible manufacturing system Kholler CIM03. So the instructions given we have grouped it into two. So the first one is to identify the main components or equipment of the F.M.S. Kholler CIM03. And then the second instruction is to form a simulation using CX programmer about the F.M.S. Kholler CIM03. So for the first instruction, we will ask to identify the main components of the F.M.S. Kholler CIM03. So Muhammad Afiq Azwan, can you help us to identify the main components of this Kholler CIM system layout?
Okay, thank you, Izzuddin. Okay, for this part, they are the 5 part for main section of the F.M.S. Kholler CIM03 for this lab. Okay, for the first part, we use the automation storage and retrieval subsystem, or we call it SSRS. Okay, we used to work as a place to store the raw material, process and semi-processed good rigid part in section. Okay, for the second part, we use the material handling subsystem. Okay, for this subsystem, we provide transportation to the pallet between the various processing station. Okay, for the third, we use the flexible manufacturing subsystem. Also, we call the CNC milling machine, or we call the CNC turning machine. Okay, for this system, consists of CNC milling center, a pick and place and material handling unit. Okay, for the second, lastly, or we call fourth part, vision sensor. Okay, for the sensor is responsible in checking the quality of part. Okay, we use by the help of camera and SCADA. And for the lastly, we use the SSRS storage. After checking the product, the finished product will be stored in the SSRS storage and later will be counted. Okay, thank you for me.
Okay. Thank you, Afiq Azwan, for the listing of the main equipment in the F.M.S. Kholler CIM03. Okay, so next we'll describe about the main components of the system, of each system. So for the first equipment is the ASRS station, or known as the Automatic Storage and Retrieval Subsystem. Okay, it works as a place to store the raw materials, processed and semi-processed goods, rejected parts, etc. The ASRS leaves empty jigs on the racks to place it on the pallet on the conveyor. The pallets then are moved with the help of the conveyor to the next station, which is the milling station. And then we'll talk about the transportation, which is the material handling subsystem. The system provides transportation to the pallets between various processing stations. Conveyors are used to move the pallets around the workplace through a conveying media, and the system is already optimized and capable of handling different pallet sizes of the pallets. Okay, next, Muhammad Badrul Ikmal will talk about the CNC machine. Okay, Badrul.
Okay, for the CNC process in this lab is flexible manufacturing subsystem, CNC milling machines, and CNC tuning machines. In this lab consists of a CNC milling center. a pick and a place a material holding units. CNC Milling Center is the training grade single tool system. The parts of the milling of table of the CNC Milling Center is fastened using the specially designed pneumatic clamp for the further processing. Next, the material handling unit is pneumatic powered, is used to transfer the parts of the material between the conveyor and the CNC milling center. Arm robot at the milling station will put the machine part on the top of the jig. The unmachined raw parts is already on the station respectively. Okay, that's all for the CNC process.
Okay, next, the next part is for the vision sensor and also the ASRS storage. Will Amirul Hafiz, can you talk about that?
Sure, thank you, Izzuddin. Okay, for the next part, in the F.M.S. Kholler CIM03 is after the CNC mining machine and turning machines is the vision sensor. Okay, the vision sensor is responsible in checking the quality of the part with the help of the camera and SCADA, and it will check the convey part from the previous stations, which is the nylon and lattice in the milling station, CNC mining stations. Either it will pass the quality or not, and then it will continue to the ASRS storage, which after the checking the product in the vision sensor, the quality, so the finished product the counter stations. That's all from the ASRS storage and vision sensor.
Alright, thank you, Hafiz, for the explanation. So the last part, it will be stored at the ASRS station. Okay, so for the next instruction, we will ask to make a simple simulation using the CX programmer about this F.M.S. Kholler CIM03. So the first part, we put the conveyor part of the F.M.S. Okay, so for the simulation, there is a push button so that we can push the conveyor so that it will run constantly from stations to stations in the respective order. And then we have also inserted the reset button in case there is any emergency to stop the conveyor from moving. Okay, and next.
Okay, for the SRS station deliver, okay, we use the computer to control the to deliver SRS by station to another part station. Okay, for stopper we use to for emergency stopper. Okay, that's all for me.
Okay, after the ASRS station, the product will go to the CNC process. At the CNC process, workspace will transfer the product to the milling machine. At the milling machine, the product will be milled for the several times. After that, the arm robot will transfer the product to the conveyor and go to the lattice station. At the lattice station, the product will be laid and it will go to the next process. Okay, that's all for.
We will pick the machine's part, place into the conveyor to the arrival jig to make sure the product will go to the vision sensor for the inspection productions quality issue. Is it okay or not okay? After that, it will be checked by the computer and SCADAs to make sure quality is okay. Okay, after that, the finished product will arrive at the to the SRS for storage for the counting stations to count the quality products and the retrieve products. At the retrieve products, the product will be counting as the good quality products, and it will be finished product counting will be continue until it will be stopped.
Okay, thank you, my friends. So we'll go next. We will go to the conclusion for this lab. So, as a conclusion, by doing this lab, we have managed to strengthen our knowledge about the fundamentals of the flexible manufacturing system, or F.M.S. The different stations in the workstation have different function, and each of it has the function of its own. The ASRS will store the product in it while the machine handling subsystem functions to move the product from station to station with the help of conveyor and robot arm. Next, CNC machines are machine tools that cut or move materials as programmed on the controller as described above. The type of cutting can vary from plasma cutting to laser cutting, milling, routing, and lathe. Next, the vision sensor will check the quality of the finished product and later will be stored back in the ASRS station. Lastly, we are also able to simulate the stations using PLC's programmer. So that is all for our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.